Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am the Infinity Midwife. Thank you once again for tuning in. Now, we're just gonna jump right into my story. I know I've been saying, this series that I'm doing is about my story. Because I just want to enlighten people. I want to bring out, share the experience that I've been through, because I feel like I've been through a lot of experience in my life, and I just want to make sure that whatever I'm sharing with you is valuable, or it can make sense to your own story, or you can take some, you can leave some out, and it's just for us to relate, because I feel like with the current worldly events and situations and the pandemic, everybody kind of like just isolated themselves in the box and not really like opening up to what they've been experiencing overall, not just over those past 2 years, but just overall. So this is why I'm sharing my story. Okay, so where we left off last time, I was sharing a bit about my whole teenage years and young adulthood, where I felt like I took on a lot of responsibility at a very young age, and I was very much determined to go after making myself worthy. And so in my mind, because I had a lot of feeling of unworthiness, like I did not feel worthy, I feel loved, secure, I feel like I was lovable, I could be accepted. Like I felt very much I had to prove to others, that I'm worthy, right? And so I did all these things. I would overgive, I would overdo, I would present this mask of perfect, right? I would always present myself as the perfect one, and that brought a lot of judgment to how people viewed me and these things. And I was kind of careless, because again, I had a point to prove, right? So I was very also determined to, because I'm an entrepreneur. I have an entrepreneur spirit for a very long time. I started doing all these MLMs, and I started investing. I wanted to bring myself to the next level. So I did go to school. I did get a degree in finance, and I also at some point I didn't know what I wanted to do with my degree. So I changed career. I went to being a doula. So I started helping women, because I myself became a mother, right? I have 3 boys, and I was determined to have a different experience with my 3 boys. I did not want to go through the conventional way of having babies. I wanted to do something totally different. Again, was it because I wanted to be deemed worthy to the external eye? Maybe. But what I did was I went wild with my pregnancies and my birth. Like I became very intuitively connected to my pregnancies and birth. And so that's why, I did not go to a midwife. I did not go to a doctor. I birthed all my children at home. And after that first experience with my first newborn, I was like, how about I become, a doula, a birth coach, or help women, get more into their intuitive side of themselves, when they're pregnant and all of that. So I became as well a herbalist. So I really went another path of service, because again, part of it was the benefits that I reaped from my own personal experience that I wanted to share. And then the other part of it was I needed to prove, right, that I was worthy. I was worthy of being in service to. I was worthy of doing all these things. I was worthy of take it upon myself to experience free birth and become very autonomous and independent in that sense. And that was very rewarding. But because I had the underlying feeling of unworthiness, I was still chasing a ghost. I was still chasing that never ending feeling of wanting to do more, wanting to feel that void, because that feeling of unworthiness, whether we want to recognize it or not, it's a deep wounding. It's a deep wounding that comes from childhood, that can come from parenting, that transfer that wounding onto you. And so it also depends on your education, the way you grew up. You know, if you grew up in a very safe environment where you felt very secure, where you felt like everybody was there to raise you and to have you stabilized and into who you are, and to really like be there to comfort you and to validate you, you know. So it all depends on the type of education you have and you received. And in the type of education I had, I felt very much abandoned. You know, I felt rejected, I felt abandoned. Like all the 5 emotional wounds, I felt them, and I felt them very deep, and that left a sense of emptiness, a sense of unworthiness, that I was not worthy to make myself whole. You know, I always felt like it was an external goal that I had to go after. I had to present myself a certain way to feel love and to feel filled from the inside. So I was doing it very, very, I was doing it the other way around, basically, right? So even in my relationships, you know, I was not sure that just by me being me, right? Me being me was never something I was sure of. I was always doubting, you know, who was I presenting myself to the world? Which mask was I gonna put on today to make sure that I'm presenting myself to the world just the way the world wants to see me? You know, this little girl who's so sweet, who's so cute, this little teenage girl, you know, who is so sexy, who likes to be flirtatious, who likes the attention, and then this young adult woman who wants to be of service to everybody and anybody. Like, she's very naive and innocent. So I was putting myself out there. So by me wanting to chase worthiness, I was chasing worthiness, and that put me in a very, very vulnerable situation to people that was looking at me from the outside and be like, she does not know her worth, so let's use her. Let's use her, let's trap her, let's abuse her, let's put her in those spaces where, you know, she would never think, or she would never like react, because again, she feels that she needs to fill in this void. And so I feel like a lot of people looking at me from the external, you know, the way I was before was like a little puppy, you know, waiting to be taken by anything and anybody. Like, who wants to adopt me? Who wants to adopt me? Who wants to adopt me? And that just attracted a lot of people with wicked minds, wicked intentions, because again, I was coming from a place of hurting. I was not being whole within myself, right? And so even in the way I got into a relationship where I had 3 children with a man, I was doing it from a place of lack. That whole relationship was based on lack mentality. So when you are in the space of unworthiness, you are always giving from an empty cup, because you feel empty from within. So you're always coming from a place of lack. You're always going to push. You're always going to give. You're always going to want to do more. But you're never going to be in a space where you're actually pulling back and receiving, or allowing divine to guide you, or listening to your intuition, like actually listening and acting on it. Like, that was just not even part of the identity that I had presented to the world, because again, I was there to prove a point that I was worthy, right? And so in all the relationships that I got, like, I was just in a place where I would do anything and everything to prove that I was worthy. And the reflection was never reciprocated. It was never reciprocated in terms of, you are not going to find worth. You are not going to be worthy if you don't find worthiness within yourself. If you don't dive within to go and look at yourself and look at the parts of yourself that needs healing, the parts of yourself that are wounded, the parts of yourself that are hurting. If you're not there to hold yourself, nobody is going to hold you, basically. And I had to learn it. I had to learn it through very, very hard lessons. Like in the last 10 years, let's say, I was with someone who I did not love, right? I got in the relationship because, again, I was coming from a place of lack, and I had a child, and I did not, like, one of my biggest fears was to be a single mother, and I did not want that for my life. And so that was a big fear, and that put more pressure on me to perform and to be in that identity of look at me, I'm worthy. And so I acted in that relationship from a place of lack, from a place of hurt, and the reflection was just giving me more lack, right? Was just responding with more lack, with more unworthiness. And so it was hard. It was painful. It was really, really painful. But it was a lesson I needed to learn, that you cannot give from a place of hurt. You cannot receive from a place of wounding. You cannot ultimately be your best self and feel worthy when you haven't healed all those wounding or all those places in yourself that are hurting, right? And so, I hear a lot of people saying, especially, on social media, like, everybody have their own experience as to how they resolve those woundings, how to resolve those pains. And one thing that I did a lot of things, let's say, in the last 9 months or 10 months or so, where I'd say that I really started working on myself, because I was in a place of desperation. Okay, I was in deep depression. I was coming from a place of denial. I was coming from a place of death. Okay, the last relationship I had basically was death, mirroring death that I had put upon myself through this feeling of unworthiness. I had such a void within me that was so big that I had attracted death at my door. I had attracted death in my space because I was nowhere available for myself. I was nowhere available for my soul. I was nowhere available to the emptiness, to the wounding, to the hurt I was feeling inside that stemmed from childhood and even from, generational wounding as well. So it was a lot of hurt. And I had to come to the realization that nobody was going to be there to come and save me. I had to save my own damn self. And that was painful. That was painful to watch. That was painful to go through. Because at the end of the day, you have to take off the mask, right? You have to look at those places within yourself that have been hurting, that have been holding on to grudges, that have been holding on to resentment, that have been holding on to sadness, to past pains, to past hurts, from like years, decades ago, right? And so, one of the things as well I felt like I need to share this on this video is that when you are in that space of unworthiness and you're always overdoing, you're coming from a place of lack because you feel that emptiness from within your soul, you're never making space to feel. You never make space to listen to what is actually going on within yourself. You're always coming from a place of denial, of escapism, of avoidance. You don't want to listen. You don't want to feel. You just want to do and hope that someone out there sees you and loves you for that fakeness, basically. So in that transition, that time that I was taking away those masks, and that I was looking at the deepest part of myself that I've been hurting for a minute, for a long time. It was very painful to do, but at the same time, I think I had hit rock bottom. Like there was no escaping out of this, you know. It was whether I fully surrender to death and I die and I become in service, or I become in bondage for the rest of my life to death, or I had to recognize and I had to surrender to the hurt, to the pain. I had to surrender to all the parts of me that I had put in the box, that I had left in the shadow, that I had abandoned, that I had rejected, that I had betrayed, that I had humiliated. All these parts of me, I had to look at those parts of me that was hurting. And it's through pain that I've come to live again. It's through pain that I started feeling again. It's through looking at those deeper layers of myself that I had to come to the realization that I was not happy. And my happy me, I had put it aside very, very long time ago. You know, I had left her a long time ago. And when you decide those things at a very young age, that you can't be happy, or you feel that your happy you is not worthy, or, you know, it's gonna hurt. You know, when you're ready to look at it, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna cry. You're gonna feel like, what the fuck have I been doing all my life? Sorry for the cursing. I don't want to curse on this channel, but if it comes out, you know, take it however it comes out. Okay, you guys? So that's what I have for you guys in this video, you know. Now, you know, I could go deeper again into the story that I'm sharing. Some parts are going to be very blunt, but I do not want to turn it into a circus, into a drama platform, because I'm not here to do that. I feel like the videos that I had a channel prior to this one, and it was talking about helping a woman get into a more intuitive place when it comes to pregnancy and childbirth. And I closed down that channel. But whatever video I put out there is not necessarily to entertain or to be in a space of, you know, gossiping. It's more or less to bring light. I feel like I do bring light wherever or however I do it. So that's mainly my main focus, okay? The next series that I will be exploring, not that I'm done with this series, but I will be exploring another series as well, which we're going to talk about traditions, cultures, you know, how we've been doing things in a certain way that have not helped necessarily the individual to be fully accountable in their decision to fully evolve and grow. So because I come from an African background, we're going to dive into certain aspects of traditions or cultures that maybe we need to question. Maybe we need to take a deeper look and see whether or not it's actually helping us evolve, or is it keeping us in a loop of hurt or pain. And how can we come out of it with more awareness, and how can we help the next generation to shape a reality that is more holy, like whole, okay, not holy, HOLY. So that was all for you guys. Take whatever resonated in this video, share it, like it, okay, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care.